What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tony, aka the Senator of Chaos and Controversy, and yes, I am here to talk about a topic that is controversial, and that has to do with the storming of the Capitol. Yes, I know I'm a little late on it, but I was taking care of my son. That was more of a priority than me doing a video touching upon this particular subject matter. But nevertheless, better late than never. So here I am. Let's discuss it. Okay, so we had this situation where you had these Trump supporters, as it was claimed, to have stormed the Capitol. And the criticism is, where was the proactive police? Why didn't they do anything about it? Why didn't they interfere? Why didn't they interject? Why were there some taking selfies with the people that breached the Capitol? Vandalizing, causing destruction of property. And of course, you knew, as most of us did, when it came to this particular incident, who was going to jump on it like hungry dogs on a bone? The black social media outlets. Because now they have a point of reference to say, hey, when you say that there is no white privilege that exists here in this country, what do you call that bullshit that took place? Because there was so much criticism, so much scrutiny. There was so much turmoil and distaste and disgust towards the Black Lives Matter protests and how the police were proactive in that when it came to some of the verdicts by some of these officers, the outrage in the black community, and how they engaged with the protesters with physical harm, tear gas, rubber bullets, arrests, and it was expected to know that the comparison was going to take place. We already knew that was going to be, now we could present and inject race into this particular topic of discussion, and they were waiting for it. Now, I looked at it and I said, damn. I said, this is art imitating life, life imitating art, because I got to thinking about that movie Higher Learning, where the setting took place on Columbus University College campus. And I was thinking about the analogy of, okay, say you had the college campus police, right? And in that movie, you saw how they treated the black college students. Like, they couldn't have parties, they couldn't play their music. They got told to shut it down, and if they were walking on campus, they got asked for their IDs, or they were referred to as thugs and gangsters and stuff like that. And then on the other side of the perspective, you had the fraternities, where you had the frat boys that were partying and having all sorts of chaos and all this other stuff that was taking place. A rape took place on campus and this, that, and everything else. And campus security ain't do nothing to them. So now you see where, as blatant as it is, where there is no denying the characteristic of this country, to show who can't get away with stuff and where the consequences lie versus who can get away with shit where there's no accountability. Now, of course, I don't want to be the person to over exaggerate and say, hey, nothing well, took place in regards to whether people got hurt storming the Capitol, because yes, it was stated that some people got hurt, and there was like over 80 arrests that were made and stuff like that. But in light of all of that, in light of all of that, uh, moving beyond that, what also took place was finger pointing. Everybody decided that, oh, the actions of these individuals wouldn't have happened if a particular individual didn't encourage it. And that individual, who we all know, is Donald Trump. Let me put something in the perspective here. People act on their own accord. You know, you could point the finger at anyone else and say, hey, they're the reason why. No, you chose to do this. This is your actions and your actions alone. It's easy to point the finger at somebody and make them out to be the scapegoat for whatever reason or purpose that it serves to justify whatever bullshit or nonsense we want to entertain. But the common denominator of it all is you as the individual. You have a choice to make. You know? Case in point, I'm an individual. My ass wasn't out there Black Lives Matter marching and protesting and shit. Nah. Wasn't doing that. I also wasn't a person out there fucking storming the Capitol either. No. Wasn't entertaining that. No. Not at all. Why am I going to put myself in a position of bullshit? And what change is it really going to make? How's it going to affect or bring about the betterment of a government or establishment or change policies because my presence is standing in the midst of organization or a protest or whatever? We all know, and we've seen it, especially this pandemic has really revealed a lot of what goes on and how those in a position of power looks at us as Americans. And because of the position that they're in, we submit to them. This pandemic has shown us just that. We're at the mercy of the people who we put in particular positions. So, yeah, it's easy to point the finger at one man, but where do we take a stand and take accountability for what we've allowed? See, it's easy to say, oh, well, Obama was responsible for this. Who put him in office? Well, Trump, who put him in office? Oh, these politicians, bitch McConnell and whatever, who put him in that position? So you want to be mad and point the finger at these people want to be in the position that they're in if we didn't put them there. So how can you want to point the finger at them when we are the reasons why they are where they are at? Let's take a look at it from that perspective. Okay? And a lot of people want to say, Trump is the reason. There's a racism. You want to call Trump racist? What do you call Jim Crow Joe? And that's the hypocrisy that I don't understand too. It's like you want to sit there and point the finger and accuse Trump of being this racist and stuff, but you give a pass to Jim Crow Joe, overlooking him not wanting to do shit for black folks. Whereas Trump was willing to sit down with Ice Cube and develop some kind of platinum plan. Jim Crow Joe said, "Oh, I'll talk to you after the election." The 95 crime bill. He thought it was a good thing. He called young black children monkeys. He said he wasn't going to reform the police or change the policies. So he's in support of the population control as far as the declining of the numbers in the black community by the hands of law enforcement. He supports that. And a lot of people might be fooled because he said, well, you know, he was the vice president next to Obama, and that means what? That means what? And then people are so fucking adamant about this Koala B. Harris and shit. Look at her record. Look at how many black people who she put behind bars. A good portion of them innocent. And when it came time for them to be released and stuff like that, she didn't want to let them go. That free labor. And it took the courts to force her to turn over documents that she didn't want to turn over. That could have reduced the sentences, or if not, free people who were innocent. But we give her a pass because she got a complexion in which she didn't even acknowledge of being a black woman, because she claimed to be two different other types of races. But during this running, this election and stuff, she became a sister. She took on the identity as a sister. And it's funny how people in the black community, and this was touched upon as far as, you know, people being all, how shall I say, anti-white and this and this and this and that. But you give certain people a pass. You give her a pass. She's married to a white dude. But she don't claim to be black only when it's convenient. Which is crazy because me being mixed, I'm half black and half white. I got more rights to both sides of the fence. Black, white. I don't know. People looking at Trump as being the reason for the actions of his supporters, and he's not even the reason. He's just an excuse for people to either be blatantly and boldly racist, act with total disrespect and disregard, even with the police or whatever. There's some people that are like, hey, you know what, Republican Trump supporter, hey, fuck black people. And I know a lot of people look at the Black Lives Matter through a certain lens and are like, okay, we're going to generalize all black people based on our distaste for Black Lives Matter. And there's a lot of black people that are looking at a lot of white people with certain distaste for Trump, and how racist, whatever, some people under the Trump supported party have presented themselves. And I always say this: it's just like we entertain petty nonsense, and it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like we're at a point here in this country where we're dealing with a pandemic, we're dealing with the virus. We have loved ones that are dying. We have certain what you call restrictions put on us. We're in a bad shape in regards to like financial stability because there is no financial stability. No security as far as our homes go. We're broken. We're divided. The one thing that would throw a fucking government off is if people united as one, as an actual country. You want to overthrow the government? Show the government you don't need them. Stand together. But we stand apart. We stand apart from one another. Because we are so in tune and engulfed with our own self righteousness that we can't see beyond the bigger picture. And when the time comes when we actually find ourselves waking up, it'll be too late because then you'll have a outside influence that has already taken over. And I spoke on this before as well. And that's what they're waiting on. And from the looks of it, they don't have to wait too much longer. I'm just saying. But anyway, that's all I got for tonight. I'm tired as hell. I'm exhausted. Um, Trying to find a movie to watch or whatever. And with that being said, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, until next video, peace.